I was censored yesterday on Facebook, so Zuckerberg is full of shit. Yeah. He will. I don't think he's not going to change his spots, but what I wanted to say is that I think, and I'm hoping I can make this make sense, because I put up a short video earlier, like this morning, that was Alex Marlow from Breitbart, and he's kind of like the head of Breitbart, I believe. And Breitbart can be good, but it depends on who's writing the article. But Alex Marlow, he seems like nothing more than a shill for the military-industrial complex, and I'll say why. Because I put up this article, I call these articles, and anytime I see these articles, he was one of the people that said the Democrats are trying to draw a wedge between Trump and Musk. So the reason this pisses me off, it should piss everybody off if you can follow me here, is that they are doing that because they knew that people like me and others, because there is a couple others that have figured out that all these podcasters that supposedly support Trump, who really don't, what they knew is they knew that there would be some of us that would realize, no, Elon Musk doesn't give free speech. And the reason they all parroted, because they all planned this. And one of the things they planned was to say the Democrats are trying to draw a wedge between Trump and Musk. That should infuriate every true Trump supporter, because who they're going after when they say that is you and I. It's not the Democrats. So they're trying to make it seem like we're the ones that should be disregarded, because these are also all the same people along with mainstream media, but your podcasters that didn't trust TikTok. They did it. Glenn Beck came out 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and he took his account off of TikTok because he pushed that, oh, China owns it. So I didn't go on TikTok initially when everybody was going on it. That was when Trump was in office. I think that's when it became big. And Trump had made that comment, right, about that they needed to divest. But I think that Trump did that on purpose, because then he knew it would draw out those Republicans to start going after TikTok, and then he can get them for going after free speech, if that makes sense. Because if they were truly about respecting our First Amendment rights, nobody should have been going after TikTok. Because TikTok has offered more free speech than all American platforms combined. It has. And I think Trump made a deal with them too. I just do. I mean, there's no proof of that. I just do. Because, of course, TikTok was very... that's where a lot of Trump supporters have done videos for him, about him. So, and then he said, he used it through his campaign this last election cycle, and so I think he's known that it's been the true only free speech platform. It still shadow bans, it still plays games, but it used to be better, but it's still better than YouTube and all the rest here in America. So they literally, these platforms, because they all parroted don't separate Musk and Trump, they knew that people like me would catch on to what they were doing. They knew people like me that are true American loving people would say, wait a minute, no, Musk shadow bans. And so what those people who don't love America because they did this, what they decided to do was go after us and make that statement to somehow disparage us, like that we're just Democrats, when really, no, I would say they are. That's how diabolical it is. I don't know if people can follow that. But when you see, whether it's mainstream media or the alternative, the podcasters start parroting, and they've backed off, because once they're caught on to, believe me, they pay attention to what we the people say. Because they don't want to get caught with their pants down, but they already have. Because what they all show is that they had millions and millions of followers, all these alternative podcasters, all these supposed hosts from mainstream media that formed their own, media programs. They could have done the truly patriotic thing. And that is, it was never patriotic to push that Elon Musk gave free speech, because he never has. And even if they didn't know that in the beginning, but they knew. Again, they all push the same narrative because they care more about their money and their followers. But if they were true loving Americans, they would have been doing the opposite. They would have been saying, and it's sad that none of them did. It just goes to show how easily they all sold out. They carry on about America's values, but they certainly don't have any backbone to truly stand up for as a loving American, because they had platforms that had millions of followers, and they could have decided to use their platforms to bring people, so many of us here on TikTok, on to say, wait a minute, no, Musk is shadow banning. Instead, they did the very opposite. They lied, and they still lie and carry on about Musk. That we can't divide Musk and Trump, and that Musk is a free speech absolutist. That's how much those people hate America. And they claimed all this time that they support Trump. I mean, you would be totally pulled in by some of them, like Glenn Beck, but he's been doing it his whole life. But all these people, if they were true loving Americans, whether it's Alex Marlow, Glenn Beck, I don't care, just Joe Rogan, if they truly loved America and they were truly about America's values, then they would have stood by Americans and used their platforms, because they all love to talk about us being united. They could have used their platforms to actually speak the truth that Elon Musk is not a free speech absolutist. To this day, they won't do it. They won't do it. It's because they're not true loving Americans. They want their followers and they want their money. But I hope people are understanding that when they make this comment, that we can't let them divide. We can't let the Democrats divide Musk and Trump. The people they're hurting is loving Americans like me. Because they knew there would be people. They knew it. That's why they parroted it. They thought, no, somebody's going to figure out Elon Musk doesn't give free speech. So even though they're all in their echo chamber, they're on X, all the Republicans, they're all in their echo chamber over there. People like me and others are disregarded or spit on by these people who claim to be conservatives, are spit on by them when they make these statements that anybody that tries to divide Musk and Trump is just a divider or a Democrat. See, I'll go off on those bastards every time, because who they hurt, and they're in the media with all these big platforms, who they hurt. They hurt our country. That's who they hurt. But they hurt people like me and others that are true loving Americans that truly stand up for those values. But these people, they sold out a long time ago. That the money and the fame is more important to them than actually loving America. Because honestly, if I was somebody that had millions of followers on my platform and had the kind of influence and power they do, what I would have been doing if I was a true loving American, and I am, is I would have been highlighting how no, Elon Musk doesn't give free speech. And I would have been getting to the bottom of it the same way I do with my other, just saying the truth. And then promoting people that are really Americans, loving Americans, and letting them have their voices heard. That's what I would have done. Not one of those platforms has ever done that. Because sadly, they only speak about loving America. They don't truly love America. So I hope that makes sense. And because I every time I see somebody say that or see an article stating that, I will call those bastards out. because they are not true loving Americans. Don't call them patriots.